medication, because one of the first things they do when your child goes into foster care, and even in school, your kid can, normal childhood behavior. That's what it was called when we were children. The terrible twos, now there's a pill to stop that. You all know what the terrible twos are. We went through it. Your mother went through it. Your grandparents went through it. And the village has told the children that your children will have a stage in their lives where they'll be restless. They'll be here and there. You have to deal with it because this is the terrible twos. But the American Psychiatric Administration has designed a pill. Why? Because every time they send those pills through the school system, they get paid. Every time the school system decides that there's a child who won't sit in his seat, they get paid. Well, let me give you a perfect example of what the medication issue will do. The diagnosis of ADHD and the drug Ritalin. 6 months ago, I buried my 20-year-old son who developed liver cancer from Ritalin because he was diagnosed at 7 years old of having ADHD. Now, he's gone, and the money that was going to be made by selling this medication to him has been made, and he's been thrown away. He doesn't matter to anybody else anymore. Now, I am just one example. Your children are next. As I said, a knock on the door will change your entire life. Most people don't think it could happen to them. And that's why rooms like this are packed. And until you get that knock on the door, and then you start to see that, wow, maybe Mary Sue, who told me a couple months ago that she was dealing with Child Protective Services, maybe she had a point when she said she didn't do anything wrong. Maybe John Willie, who is in jail because he's fallen behind in child support, maybe it wasn't the child support that he fell behind that put him in jail, but maybe he couldn't pay, and maybe he just wanted to have time with his kids. Well, it's not profitable to the state for shared parenting bills to be passed. If we have a joint custody bill passed, and custody is divided amongst parents 50-50, well, let me put this out of the way to begin with. The first argument about 50-50 custody is we're disrupting the kid's life. What the heck are they doing when they knock on your door and put your kids in foster care? I think that it's more of a settling aspect for children to go from one parent to the other, maintaining their relationships with both sides of their family, than to have children denigrated and one parent tossed in jail and children watching their parent being destroyed. Where are we going with this? The best interest of the child. House Bill 4564, regardless of what committee it goes to, will never be passed. It has gone from the Child and Family Services Committee to the Judiciary Committee. This is a prediction, and it's on tape now. And I can say this with full confidence, it will never be passed. We'll have a vote of 6-4 or 5-4 or 7-8. It will be very close, but it will never be passed. Because if it's passed, and the presumption in the courts, and we have the judges who, the friend of the courts, are employees of the judge, and these guys are contracted under Title IV to bring money in, collecting child support. So the courts don't want, and the attorney associations don't want joint custody bills passed because, as they say, it takes the discretion from the bench. Well, how much discretion does it take for a judge to realize that what's in the best interest of the child is a balanced diet of a mother and a father? There is no discretion there. That is, in fact, a no-brainer. But our judges want to make a determination, and the determination that they make is generally biased based on the fact that the courts stand to make money every time a child is, a parent is considered non-custodial. There is no such thing. We have a God-given right to parent our children according to our own cultures, according to our own ethnicities, without the interference of the government or the courts. And until our constitutional rights are recognized, these things will continue to take place. I am CEO of an